Hello and welcome back to the channel Smart Fishing UK, and today we're going to be going over the Navionics Platinum Plus with the chart shading. And I'm just going to introduce you. We're very welcome. Lance here from Navionics UK.
I will.
And Jim, a feature writer from Saltwater Boat Angling magazine. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go over how the chart shading come about, and then we're going to show you how to operate it. And then move on to where it's going. So Lance, thank you very much for coming down today and being with us. First of all, how did the chart shading come about, and if you could give us a bit of a background behind it?
Okay, sure. Well, if I can perhaps reflect on how we started here with Platinum Plus.
Yes.
What we have within the charts are our standard nautical chart, which is the foundation of Navionics, basically. And in addition to that, we can switch over to from 2D to 3D. We can also then introduce our Sonar chart layer, which is our high-res contours that we've had for the last 4 or 5 years now, which are basically half-meter contours that you can have at full, high visibility, high density, medium density, low density, depending on how you want to have the contour showing. You can also then introduce our overlay layer. Within our satellite overlay layer, we have something called Sonar chart shading, which is a very easy way to be able to discriminate between varying depths of water. So using shades of blue, from the dark blue being deep water, light blue being shallow water. And
I'll be honest, we've had a play with that, and we were very fortunate to use it down in Salcombe, funnily enough, and we found it such an advantage to finding those niche locations. So yeah, we've had a play. We don't vouch to be a pro with it, but we're learning, and it's an amazing piece of equipment so far. Yeah,
we had a similar experience when we did the Barracuda tour in May of this year, and well, I'm pleased to say our teams won both competitions there, which was great. And this was a heavy use of Sonar chart shading during the competition, so that really brought it home to us how what success we feel this is going to be.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's really good, and it's great to see that the development with the sort of technology, and then amalgamating it into the sort of fishing world, and it's really from my personal experience, it's transforming marks and being able to use different fishing marks, which is great.
Yeah, I can confer with that, because I've used the original chart regularly for fishing. We then put on the extra dimension, which which gave us amazing information for marks we've used for years, not realising that while we were on the marks, you could see by the gullies and the contours. But now with this overlay, where you'll be able to pick out the spot that's deep without having to check on all the little isobars on the marks.
Absolutely, Jim.
I mean, it's going to make things really helpful.
You're
for fishing.
Absolutely right.
Looking for new marks is so important with fishing. I mean, you get bogged down on the same old marks. If you can go to a bit of ground where nobody fishes because there's a certain gully or a feature.
Well, this was what the Sonar chart, when we introduced Sonar chart, this was what it was doing.
The one that was the big difference.
That was the big difference.
But this is taking it an even step further.
Exactly. It's
but for so many anglers like myself who are perhaps not technically up to date, if you can show us how to get to that point, and make use of it, it would be terrific.
Yeah, I think we can just go through the straightforward nautical chart setting. We can switch over to Sonar chart, given the high-res contours, and then we can introduce Sonar chart shading overlay on top of that, either with or without the contours showing. And you can see how the varying shades of blue give you this differential to be able to view and see where the good fishing spots are going to be.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so shall we go over some of the settings, and hopefully we can share that with you guys at home, just how to go through that. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to turn it to 3D. So simple button. Yeah.
So as you can see, this has basically moved us from looking down on top of the chart like that, 2D, which is the normal way. Some people like to have it in a 3D view, just like you can in the car. I personally quite like it. So you move from 2D to a perspective view, 3D. So that's what this is going. So that's why we can see a bit more of the coast here. Yeah. So that's a one simple thing there.
Right. So we just go back through. So come back, go into more options, chart options. And I'll come down and I'm going to put on Sonar charts. There we go. Wow, look at that.
Oh,
big difference.
Right, so Jim, this is the...
this is the one we've been using the last couple of years
Yeah.
on our boat that's made such a difference.
Yeah.
Finding, like some of the marks that are shown on the chart there, the blue spots, you can now see why they fish well, because they're gullies where the fish move through, or they're a peak and a bump.
The sonar chart, when we introduced that, Jim, as you say, I think it's about 4 or 5 years ago now. It's kind of revolutionised fishing. Actually, it was a major, it was a game changer for us.
It was a big step up.
Yeah. So this is the maximum density now. So remember, these are half-metre contours that we've got running on here. Now, if you don't want to have so many contours, you can change the settings there to.
Okay, so I just drop down to high, and that takes out some of the contours.
And just come down to the next layer, perhaps
medium.
Well, there's medium, and then if you take it down to low.
Wow, look at that.
The whole point, you get just such different information.
Absolutely.
I mean,
that's right.
You're struggling when you're looking at that chart, but the high res, I mean.
So remember, just to recap, we started just on our nautical chart. And then we've then switched to sonar chart, the half-metre contours, and here is at low density. And if we switch back up to medium,
there we go.
There's slightly more contours. And if you really want to have a closer look, you go to high.
Put it on high. There we go.
In comes some more, and then to the very high. This is the last setting. This is the maximum high density half-metre contours.
Okay, so should we move it on a little bit and now introduce this this new sonar chart shading, because I'm falling in love with this.
Well, I've not seen it, so I'm looking forward to seeing the difference.
Let's show you, Jim. Shall I bring it on?
Yeah, sure. The sonar chart shading is part of our satellite overlay.
Yes.
So if we bring that in.
So come up to here. We're going to put shading on. And then we're going to turn up the so currently we're on, you can overlay it, so it's currently on no overlay. We turn it all the way up to full.
There we are.
Wow.
At a glance now. So this is without any contours showing themselves, but the contours are being discriminated by varying shades of blue. This is what sonar chart shading is. So if you look at the dark blue are the deep waters.
You know there's going to be
that's going to be deep there. The small channels where there may be troughs and gullies that you would, with sonar chart, you would see those by looking at the contours. This is giving you a very quick discrimination
without having to study the whole chart and find the gully.
Exactly.
They're picking them out for you.
Exactly. That's what it's doing.
And straight away you can clearly see that. I mean, this is a mark just off of Beachy Head, and without even looking at the chart lines and all the bars, you can straight away see there's a lovely little gully there. It looks like a big bowl almost, doesn't it?
Well, I think there's Beachy Head ledge, and then a deeper hole behind it, isn't it?
It makes it so much easier to identify these marks.
So can you adjust that depth of colour?
Yes, you can. And Jim, just understand, you know this area, so you know that there is a ledge there. And this is an easy way to
everybody talks about
it.
the deep hole, and it shows up clearly there with that dark blue. You know, it's amazing.
So yes, we can now play around with the settings here, and this is the maximum opacity. So if we come halfway, and there's the nautical chart underneath it. Okay. Now, in addition, then we can. That's with nautical chart. Now we introduce sonar chart.
Right.
So perhaps sonar chart with the low density.
Yes.
We can switch that on, and then you can see how all the information
is building up step by step.
Isn't it? That's right.
Sonar chart is coming in. Okay, so we've now got sonar on low density, so it's put a few more lines in. But
yeah, that's right. So we're seeing the shades of blue with the contours as well. If we switch it into perhaps up to medium and then high and then to very high to just go through the stages.
I'll leave the overlay about halfway. So currently on low, here's medium. You can see the contours coming.
Additional contours coming.
And then we go up to high. Cool. More contours, and then very last, very high.
That does show it up so clearly, doesn't it?
Exactly. So you've got all of the information shown there. Now, personally, with my experience has been that I quite like to have the more blue showing and less contours. Just adjust that slightly with the
transparency, and we'll just bring that down a bit so we can just see the lines underneath. but we've got
right.
So now we've got everything on here now.
Yes.
We've got sonar chart shading and sonar chart underneath it, set at a transparency there of it's about 3 or 4%, I think.
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. Thanks ever so much for coming down today, guys, Jim and Lance, and showing us and helping us go through the sonar chart shading. I think it's been it's been really good to understand it and hopefully share it with our viewers. Other than that, thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, Will. It's been good being here. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for watching. Can I just cut us there? Do you have one of the little boxes that they come in?
No.
Pull it in the right direction.
No, it's look, hang on, Jim. I think is it just that?
You do that, don't you? Yeah.
Then you've got to do that as well.
There is a lock.
Let me have a
Yeah.